So this is the first batch of made in China Model 3s to arrive in the UK. The usual questions are, is the build better? Is it worse? Do they have heated steering wheel? Do we have the new trims on the doors? Well, there's loads of cars here at Southampton docks this morning. It's the 1st of March. One of these is ours. We're going to collect it, take it back to our unit and compare it side by side and try and find all the differences we can between the made in China Model 3 and all the previous made in Fremont Model 3s. So here we are, this is our one, and it looks very nice. So this is a long range in midnight silver metallic, black interior, 19-inch wheels, plus this one has the tow bar fitment as well. So we're going to look at this in close detail. The fit and finish from here looks absolutely fine, but we're going to take this back to our unit, get it side by side and do some more in-depth comparisons. Of course, being the UK, we have the new 21 number plate, 1st of March, new number plates. Everyone gets very excited about that. So this is the first on the road with that plate. So the first question, does it have a heated steering wheel? Well, I've had a quick look inside. Yes, it does. But let's get it back and see what else we can find. Okay, so we're back at the unit. This is a new made in China Model 3. First batch into the UK on the new March the 1st 21 number plate. Giving us a good chance to have a really good look around it. We've got 9 other Tesla Model 3s here of all different ages. So we've been going over the car for the last hour and a half to find any differences we can find between the new Model 3 and any of the previous ones. So we're looking at quality, panel gaps, alignment, and any changes in any of the features. So keep watching, and we're going to tell you everything that we've found so far. Firstly, how do you know if the car's a made in China car? Well, any new car being collected from today onwards, March the 1st, 2021 in the UK should be. And you can also double check by the VIN number here, should begin with LRW. If it begins with LRW, it's a made in China car. So let's cover one of the first obvious differences. The trim on the dashboard now runs into the door cards. In this case, with the black interior, it's the wooden trim. And it runs around into here. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments below. Does it look better? Does it look worse? I'm not really sure why they've done it, to be honest, but one thing it will make a difference. A popular option that we offer is to replace this wooden dashboard with an Alcantara version. You can see in one of our other videos our Alcantara version, which then matches really nicely with this and the door cards here. So of course we're going to have to work out an option now where we replace that and that with Alcantara. So one of the biggest talking points recently has been, will it have a heated steering wheel? When the newer revised model came out in December, it didn't. However, this one, made in China, does. Okay, so the interior and center console here changed recently in what was called the refresh Model 3, or commonly referred to as a 2021 Model 3. And we've covered that already in a separate video. So please do look through for other videos, or maybe we'll try and put a little link above to all the differences between the earlier and the refresh Model 3s. They only just came out. Now we've got these ones made in China, but this seems all very much the same. And the interior, the seating here, does seem very much the same, apart from the door trims and apart from one other thing we've noticed. Okay, on the front doors, we've mentioned this change, but this has changed. The speaker and the cover here is different. You can't sort of see through this now. You can sort of see through in the old one, and this feels like a metal cover on here. It's a bit tougher. So I wonder why they've done that. Have a look at the back doors. And this is a refresh 2020 front one. So it's slightly different material, different shape here. And this has the older door card without the trim. So the rear speakers have changed slightly too. We've now got this circular design, and looking inside of a torch, we think maybe a different speaker. So why have they potentially changed the speakers in the car? If you have any information, if you know, if you have a theory, please let us know in the comments below. Perhaps it's going to be to do with noise cancelling. Different speakers required for that. Maybe it's just a better sound system. We're going to have to wait and find out. We'd be interested to know your thoughts. And you can see here on the 2020 car, that is a different shape panel. So this whole door card is completely different. The rest of the design here all looks very much the same, but there's definitely something different with these speakers. So this is just something we noticed, not the most scientific measurement, but coming through the centre here, the bottom of this wheel arch here is 71.5 centimetres from the ground. Remember, this car's fitted with the 19-inch wheels. It's a long range, so it has the standard long range suspension. And then we noticed this. This is a Fremont made car. This is a performance only a few weeks old. This sits taller. Now, maybe a slight variation in the wheel, but it shouldn't change much. It does still say on the Tesla website that the performance has lowered suspension, but there's no difference. And just as a point of comparison, this 2019 long range actually sits even lower. 2019 Model 3 performance, 71.5. 2020 Model 3 long range, 71.5. Just over 71, 2019 Model 3 performance, 71.5. 2019 Model 3 performance. So this newer performance refresh, 72. This here sits higher than any of the other Model 3s we've got here. Performance or non-performance, this is the highest riding car here. Under here doesn't seem to have changed much compared to other refresh cars, to be honest. Same battery, all the parts look the same. Just out of reference, this is a pre-refresh car. Has a slightly different intake here for the ventilation, but not much different. So this is the Fremont made car, just also very recent, a couple of weeks older. Under here, all looks exactly the same battery as the brand new China one. Okay, the headlights seem the same as the other refresh cars made in Fremont, same part numbers, which of course are slightly different to the earlier vehicles. LED matrix. So we've got the heated steering wheel now. Is this any thicker? Not that I can feel. Feels exactly the same. Okay, in the luggage area, everything seems the same shape and size. I think this is a slightly softer boot floor material. This car here is only a couple of weeks older and it's not as, well, you wouldn't say deep pile, but it's not as soft as this. Okay, the tailgate, of course all the refresh cars have a power tailgate now. We think this one might be slightly quieter. Okay, compare that to this, one of the last Fremont made cars, only a couple of weeks older. So in the UK at least, Tesla have always been putting on the sort of frame to hold the number plate in place. It's always been a bit ugly. It's changed. I still don't like it. What I tend to do is take this frame off and put the number plate straight onto the backing panel. It's much neater. Okay, so those are the sort of key differences we've found so far. So what about the quality, the finish, panel gaps? Let's show you some comparisons of that now. Okay, so what about the paint quality? Well, to be honest, this car doesn't seem to have any defects in the paint. We haven't found any as yet. Again, like a lot of the Tesla sites, it is collected outside, so it does have a bit of dust over it, and you'll see some of the dust. We haven't wiped it over yet, so we'll have a bit more of a look in closer detail. The only flaw we did find is a little scuff in this wing here where something's just rubbed it, but that will polish out. That's not a paint defect, that's just where someone's brushed against it. A bit careless when you're picking up a new car. It would be nice if it was really clean, really well prepared. There's bits of glue on the alloys and there's a couple of bits of glue. That's where protective covers have been pulled off the trim. But paint quality, it looks good, no defects. I wouldn't say it's any less or any more orange peely than it was before. We've got other midnight silver metallic cars who have been comparing it to, but it certainly seems fine without flaws. Okay, so let's now look at some of the panel gaps and alignment. Now, first impressions with this, we've got even gaps here down either side of the bonnet to the wings, but there's a slight difference at the front. Compared to some of the older cars, including the very recent one from Fremont, we've got a slight gap here where this bonnet sits lower than the bumper. This gap between the bonnet and the bumper is also slightly bigger between this and the older cars. And this gap here is also slightly bigger than the other recent car we have. Now, it all looks fine. I'm being quite nitpicky, but it doesn't quite line up the same as the older cars. So in fact, on this one, I think the Fremont car might have it slightly, but the next one off the line could be slightly different again. So one of my Model 3s I had for a long time was white, and I always used to notice a certain light in evenings that the wing would actually make a shadow onto the bumper here because the wing stuck out slightly more from the bumper. Exactly like this example here. Only a little bit, but in low light you could just see a shadow form. So it really highlighted how the panel alignment was slightly different. So, is this new China one any better? Nope, it's exactly the same. The wing sits slightly more proud than the bumper. Now let's just have a quick look at the very recent Fremont car, see how that compares. So this very recent Fremont car I think is perfect. A nice flat flush finish there. I think this one's better. So coming on now to the rear of the wing with the A-pillar and the door. This made in China one's got a very nice even gap along here, and this alignment between that pillar and wing looks good. As we go down this leading edge of the door, nice even gap. Looks the same size gap as the Fremont car, but it's nice and even, fits well, doesn't seem to be a problem. Let's come to the rear of the door here now. Now, this alignment here is often slightly different, and this car here is no exception. The alignment of these is just ever so slightly out between the front door and the rear door, but I think every single Tesla I've seen so far is like that. The gap down the door here seems nice and even. The closure of the door seems to leave a nice consistent flat edge, so I'm happy with that. It looks good. So this is the recent Fremont car, and there's a slight difference where this rear door protrudes ever so slightly from the front door. Now you want to look out for that. It's not ideal. A tiny amount like this is fine, but if you ever see that your front door closes further in than the rear door, you need to address that quite quickly. You're going to gather up stone chips on the leading edge of the rear door if you don't. The gap on this Fremont car looks nice and even, similar at the top here, ever so slightly out. So they're comparable, but this recent Fremont one maybe slightly loses out to the China one on this particular example. So as we come down the side of the car, on both sides, this gap along here, this alignment, the alignment there, the alignment between the tailgate there and the back of the roof, all looks good. Coming down here is nice and consistent. We've got a nice flat level there. The paint looks good, and the bumper to wing alignment with the light all looks good. So I'm very happy with this China one for that. Okay, so the earlier Teslas always had this issue where this piece of glass roof was never in good alignment with this. Very common. The older Model 3s I've seen have that. Let's see if this new one's better. And so this new car, we can see that is much better. So I'm more happy with that. Not quite perfect, but far better. So the China one's better than the earlier Model 3s, but this recent one from Fremont is even better again. Top marks on this one, to be fair. So this is the wing and A-pillar alignment on the driver's side of the China car. It's okay, it's okay. But come and have a look at the recent Fremont car. I think you'll agree, this is actually tighter, neater and better. Okay, so we said this alignment between the wing and the door on the passenger side looks nice and even. Indeed it is. I can just about fit this ruler and run it nicely down the side with a nice even gap all the way along. Let me show you the driver's side. Okay, so this is the driver's side. It looks like a nice even gap. This is the same end of the ruler. And it slides there, then stops. So there's obviously a slight difference. It doesn't have quite the same even gap all the way down. It's nothing visually too obvious, but it's obviously not quite perfect. So just comparing the other side of the boot, that it's nice and symmetrical, and actually it does look very good. A few of them have been known to be a bit uneven, a bit twisted, a bit wonky, or the lights don't line up well, but this one looks very good so far, no problems there. So on the driver's side here, we actually see the door alignment really is actually very good here. Slight difference in the trim height. Even gap down here. We're seeing just the driver's door protruding ever so slightly from the passenger. But only ever so slightly. I'm nitpicking here. It seems like an even gap all the way down. So it's okay, it's no problems. However, the recent Fremont car we have here seems equally as good. Some of the older Model 3s we have here, the 2019s, actually have some slightly tighter gaps between the wing and the door, and some of the doors here. They do vary a little bit. I think that's fairly standard. But as far as made in China car is concerned, seems pretty good, no complaints. So this is the recent Fremont car. This panel gap here is actually tighter than on the China one. On here, it seems even and good, with equally good kind of alignment at the top there. Very similar to the other one, the slight trim on the driver's door, slightly lower, but This is very much identical to the China one, so I can't pick any differences there. This is a common area where they do not align, either how flat they are here or the alignment there. This one's very good and actually quite a bit better than the Fremont car sat next to me here. Okay, right under the car, it basically looks the same, but there is one good difference here. There's a panel underneath the motor, and that would commonly become dislodged or fall out or come loose if you went through a big puddle or loads of standing water. It's just like a fibrous material, but on this new car, that seems to be a good, hard, new plastic panel, and that's great to see. By the way, we had a quick look, and there's still no pedestrian speaker fitted to the cars, so I'm not sure when we'll see those. So there we are, that's what we've found so far. I think the main difference really is a heated steering wheel and the dashboard comes around onto the doors. Whether you think that's a good thing or bad thing, I guess that's down to personal opinion. Makes our life a little bit harder when we want to change the dashboard for the Alcantara version, but I'm sure we'll work around that. And in terms of quality, fit and finish, I think for most people, you're just not going to tell the difference. They seem very comparable. I think we have seen improvements out of the Fremont cars recently, and it seems comparable to this new car here. We've seen slightly better points and slightly worse points, but we are nitpicking. I don't think there's anything a general member of the public would tell in terms of difference. So there we are. The Made in China Model 3 is in the UK. I think most of the right-hand drives will be here now. Be interesting to see what happens with the performance models. Will they still come from Fremont? So again, any information you have on that, let us know. But for now, thank you for watching another video. If you don't already, please subscribe on Facebook, Instagram. We do put a lot of daily storyboard posts up there to show you everything we're doing on a daily basis. Lots of comparative tests. We've got that ability to show cars side by side and do comparable driving and efficiency videos as well. So for now, we'll wrap up and we'll see you on the next one.